Welcome back to Steveisms with Steven. I'm Steve, and today I'm feeling a little off, and I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it. So I have ADHD, and it's not a secret. A lot of people do. It's probably one of the most under slash overdiagnosed neurospicy situations on the planet. But that means that it's a struggle. You know, whether you're medicated or you're going to therapy, it can be a struggle. And a lot of times it can be an issue of feeling motivated. I don't even know if that's the issue because it's not like I'm not motivated. It's like I know things that need to be done. I want to do them, but I just can't get started unless I have an interest. And so these last few months I've been trying to figure out ways to work around that, to make it work. And what I found was, it starts with eating healthy. I know that sounds weird. And as an ADHDer, especially one that's overweight and struggled with weight issues my whole life, I didn't want to hear that. I wanted the sugar because that's the dopamine hit, right? But I found that I like blackberries and I like Greek yogurt, strawberry Greek yogurt, and that mix tends to just set me on fire, set me in a great mood. And so I had that this morning thinking that would help. And I also found that going to the gym, releasing those endorphins early in the day, really is a great way to start the day. So every day for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I went to the gym and I worked out with my daughter. And then this morning I slept in till 6. I usually get up about 4:05, 4 o'clock. I slept until 6 and I didn't end up going to the gym. And I was like, okay, no big deal. I'm, supposed to start work. And I know the things I have to do. The list is massive, but like I sit down and I just can't get myself to do it. And it's not like I'm not motivated. I really do want to do it. But it's like I have this huge list. And even if it's written out in front of me, there's this thing where if I'm not staring right at it and seeing this checklist, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like my wife could give me a list of people to call, and it's really important for our personal stuff. And no matter how important it is, no matter how much I promise, unless I actively set myself reminders to do it, it's just not going to happen because it disappears. Whatever I'm hyper focused on in the moment is what happens. This video is a prime example of this phenomenon for me. I was lucky enough to get my coworker with the biker lawyers sent over some lights and this microphone because we had made some changes to our studio, and I record content sometimes for them here. In fact, the latest video about going on a poker run was specifically filmed here, and he saw the camera and was like, yeah, no, we got to get you a better camera. So he gave me the old one, and he said, your lighting situation sucks. So we did that. So I got all this set up and I really wanted to record something. And I want to do more like daily content or more content for my own channel because I figure it's good practice because it gives me something to edit. It gives me something to figure out how I want to edit and how I want to get things right. And I sat down, I got everything finally set up, and it took forever because I couldn't figure out what was wrong. But next thing I know, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to talk about. Then I realized that was the subject, right? I love spending time with my kids. I love spending time with my wife. I love playing video games, but there's times when I'll sit down to play a video game, and I don't get to do that often. I don't have a lot of time, but I'll sit down to play a video game and just find 5 minutes in that I'm just not interested. And so a while back, I started finding this whole issue with being disinterested in things and wanting to follow what I wanted to do. And I realized that the issue may have been some depression related, right? So I got on some medication for that, and it helped, but like I just feel kind of disassociated. You know what I mean? Like I will, when I'm done with this video, I might edit it a little bit and then I'll post it. But I know that getting this creative out of the way that I have right now that I'm doing will probably help me do the more productive things, like make the list that I have to make for work and make the calls that I need to make and send the messages and that sort of thing. But I had to get this creative out of the way. So I'm blessed. I know first world problems here. I'm blessed that I have a job that offers me the flexibility and the autonomy to be able to do this before I get to work. But like, if I didn't, it'd be hard. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe that's what I need is that structure. I used to, every job that I had before I got my master's degree was very time managed for me. And for the last almost 4 years that I've been at this job, the time management stuff has been up to me and I've been able to stay on it. But lately it's been more of a challenge. And maybe it's because it's summer and I'd rather be riding the motorcycle or taking my kids swimming. And so being, in my basement office / studio is the thing that's has me a little off. But I don't know. Hey, what's up? Editor Steve here. So as I was editing this video, I was looking up some different, reasons that ADHDers might be lacking. And I found some pretty interesting stuff. Now, I just wish I'd have found this before I was 40, but I wanted to make sure I included this in here, if nothing else, so that I can come back and rewatch it. So the first thing I found is what's called the 10-3 rule for ADHD. The 10-3 rule for ADHD refers to a time management technique where individuals with ADHD work on tasks for 10 minutes, followed by a 3-minute break. This structured approach helps break down overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable chunks, keeping motivation high and preventing burnout. The short bursts of focus work are followed by a brief structured break where the individual can engage in activities like stretching, deep breathing, but not social media, or in my case, games on your phone. I think that's a really, really, really cool idea. You'd have to have a timer, or at least I would. I could see it being a half hour, and then a couple minute, maybe a 5-minute break. 10 minutes seems like just enough time for me to get into hyperfocus. And I know me, I would just ignore the alarm. So the other one was an 80-20 rule for ADHD. And the main idea of this strategy is that we can achieve most of our desired outcomes by focusing on the most important pieces of work. If we only prioritize the 20% of our tasks that need to be done, 80% of our outcome will follow. The other tasks of less priority can be a focus after the high impact tasks are done. So, put first things first. I used to say work before play leaves more time for play. I've lived by that most of my life. Unfortunately, I found that sometimes, if not a lot of times, that's not actually accurate or true. Another one I saw was the 30% rule. We love our percentages and numbers, don't we? The 30% rule in ADHD is all about setting realistic expectations for yourself. ADHD brains tend to underestimate or overestimate how long things take, which leads to frustration or stress or overpromising and under-delivering, or the other way around, under-promising and then over-delivering, which in some cases is not a good thing. It says, here's how the 30 rule works. Add 30% of time to everything. If you think something will take 10 minutes, plan for 13 instead. I've always sucked at this. Somebody will ask me how long something will take, and I just guess a number because I get time blinded so easy. So there's a lot of really good reward systems, a lot of really good ways to manage your time. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to make sure that I threw this in there because I felt like it was an important thing to include in this video. So now back to me wrapping things up. If you too struggle with this, tell me some things that you do that you think helps. It's not an everyday thing. Usually I'm super motivated. Usually I can get the things that I want to get done. But like today, it's just a bit of a struggle. And that struggle is very real. And, I think to myself, I should journal it or write about it. I open the book and just nothing comes out of the pen. So I thought I'd do a video on it because then I'm just talking to myself. But you tell me. I mean, you look great today, by the way. Thanks for making it this far. I'm sorry I didn't compliment you sooner, but you do. You've got something in your eye though. You might want to wipe that. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, let me know. Let me know what you think for yourself, for your motivation. Let me know what you think of the lighting, of the sound quality, of the picture quality. I'm curious. I want to know. And keep fighting. Keep trying. Keep pushing. And know that this too shall pass. Thanks for watching.